Hello and welcome to ATP Report. I'm Barry Nussbaum. I want to remind you in ATP land, it's very simple to subscribe to get all of our content, including today's show, absolutely for free. Just type in findbarry.com or send that to anybody. They can click on it. It'll take you to the website and you can subscribe for free. You'll get everything, including today's special guest, the famous Will Johnson. Will publishes Unite America First. He's a leading pundit, knowing everything about American politics, and he is one of our favorites here at ATP. Welcome, Will.
Hey, nice to be here, Barry.
So let's get started with your favorite transportation secretary, wink, wink, Pete Buttigieg. He said a few months ago that rural and suburban voters should all buy electric cars because, well, they drive more and they use more gasoline. So if they went out and bought electric cars, they would save a fortune. President Biden touted it last week, and he said the way to beat high gas prices is to go out and buy a car like the one I'm driving, which happened to be a $112,595 electric Hummer. So if you save the $800 a month that President Biden says you'll save, in a very short 12 to 13 years, you will have paid off your new Hummer just in time for it to fall apart. Well, how do people that can't afford groceries buy a $100,000 car?
You know, they can't. I can't afford to buy a Tesla or electric vehicle myself. You know, Barry, when Biden made that statement saying that you can save money by getting an electric vehicle, you don't have to spend $80 to $100 a month in gas. Well, how much is the note for that electric vehicle for every month? It's going to go through the roof, let alone buying groceries. So with Biden and Pete Buttigieg all pushing everyone to go to the electric vehicle, this is only going to cripple the economy even more. And it's going to really separate who can and who can't. And I'm one of the ones who can't.
Well, you know, to pile on, you really want to make the absurdity discussion out in the open, Will. In California, the electric grid can't support more load, meaning if there were another $100,000, another 100,000 Teslas, let's just say in California, the grid in certain places would go down. They don't produce enough electricity, which, by the way, they produce by burning fossil fuels, I might add, like natural gas and oil and burning coal. To produce that electricity, the grid will fail. And then you've got blackouts and people can't drive their cars.
I think that's part of the agenda, because once they have it to where they can tell people where they can and can't go, then they can control where that is. And if they want to shut down your vehicle, they'll be able to do that. Oh, and a lot of people have not been talking about how the social programming, that if you said something against their social standards, they can shut down your vehicle. All that's coming as well. All this is just part of it.
You know, I've heard the same thing, and that, Will Johnson, is terrifying.
Yes.
If that happens. So let's talk about this judge that Biden has suggested for the Supreme Court. It looks like she's going to get through with votes on party lines, and Mitt Romney and Murkowski and Collins are crossing to vote for her. It seems to me that, contrary to what the media is saying, which is anyone opposed to her is a racist, it seems to me that the reason why they're opposed to her, after voting for previous Black justices on the court, they're opposed to her because of her extraordinarily light sentencing for the disgusting crime of child pornography. There are many cases that the senators have talked about in the open hearings where, when she was on the bench, she was giving sentences well below what the law suggested for child pornography. I mean, I read the cases. It's sadomasochistic, it's torture of children, it's sex with children as young as 2. And these are people that she said she felt sorry for the perpetrators and was giving them a shorter sentence. What do you think of this nomination?
I think it's completely repulsive. She gave a lighter sentence, and she used the excuse that the reason why she gave the lighter sentence is because other judges were doing the same thing. And even other Democrats brought it up. So if other judges were giving a lighter sentence to these pedophiles, that's the bigger problem here. This shouldn't be the underlying, way of things. If they're giving a lighter sentence, that should be questioned. Every last one of them. Maybe they should get a stiff sentence for all of the ones that they didn't give it to. And for this pick, the only reason why they picked her, I think personally, on a personal level, the only reason why they picked her is because she is light on these pedophiles. She is light on them. And the only reason why she's there, because there's three reasons. Well, the two obvious is because she's woman, she's Black, and then the third one, because she's easy on pedophiles.
I don't have words as a parent how disgusting that is. And, if we want to pile on, it was very funny, but it's weird. When asked under oath, Will, how she defines a woman versus a man, and it's an important question because there's a lot of equal protection cases that come before the court, right? She couldn't define woman because she's not a biologist.
Yeah.
So how is she going to decide women's rights cases and equal protection cases and bathroom cases and discrimination cases if there's no definition except for a biologist to know what a man is and what a lady is?
Yeah. Well, you know what, Barry? I'm a man, and I can tell you the definition of a woman. It is the female species. I wouldn't want to live on a planet without them. That's seriously. You leave a planet with a whole bunch of men, I'm going to war.
Yeah.
So seriously. But the reason why she didn't want to give the definition of a woman is because she didn't want to offend the trans people that are out there, these people that are living alternate lives than the way they were born. She didn't want to offend them. And right now, you even have the White House, and you have other predominant Democrats, along with the liberal media, all of them supporting and fighting for what they call the trans kids, because they want to have the capability to protect them. That's what they're saying. We have to educate them to protect them. No, it's sickening what they're doing.
I agree with you. And like I said, as a dad, your job when your kids are little is to protect your children from this sort of craziness that appears to be the government policy, at least of this government. So let's talk about something a little funnier. Razor Wars. There's a media company that has gotten offended because the razor company that was advertising with them, Harry's Razors, decided that they were going woke. So they didn't want to support live the Daily Wire on their live shows, because that would suggest that they were supporting bad political things. So what did the Daily Wire do? Well, they started up a new razor company called Jeremy's Razors, and they sold 45,000 subscriptions and got 110,000 followers in the first week, simply because they announced that they want to support freedom of speech, and someone who doesn't shouldn't be patronized. In other words, vote with your wallet for free speech. Mm-hmm. And the Daily Wire hit it out of the park. What's the message here, Will?
Don't go woke. I mean, really? So the best thing you can do is, if you're selling razors, just sell razors. Why you got to interject? Why? I mean, it kind of makes me think about Disney, but it's a little different here. But I'll give you a better example. Gillette. I don't know if you saw the video. This was maybe a couple of years ago, where Gillette decided to do the whole trans thing. They went woke, and they had a female and a dad teaching the female how to shave her beard. And it was completely bizarre. So that actually hurt them. Same thing's going to end up hurting them.
Let me ask you about,
be buying them.
Let me ask you about what you just touched on, because it was a good segue. Hundreds of thousands of American families, it may be in the millions now, are announcing they're done with visiting the 2 Disney resorts in California and Florida. And they say this divorce is going to be permanent. Why? Because Disney went totally woke and is using their incredibly powerful influence in Florida to fight the Florida Parents' Rights Bill. And this bill is something that says that the parents ought to be able to decide the sexual education of their children, especially in regards to trans rights. Florida is pushing back hard, and now American parents are saying, we're done with Disney. We don't want your woke agenda. I should tell you one more thing. I watched a video that talks about the fact that Disney is injecting trans and gay narratives into all of their cartoons now.
No,
What's
you're
the message, Will?
You know what? The message is don't go woke.
Same message. Seems to be going around.
You know what, Barry? Originally, Disney wouldn't even make any comments. Disney wasn't even saying anything. Well, they started getting Disney employees that were walking off the job. They started getting a lot of pressure from the woke left. They started getting politicians saying, hey, Disney, you have all this money. We need for you to stand up because you have all this authority and power, especially in the state of Florida with Ron DeSantis. That's the only reason why they're coming out and saying anything, because at first they didn't want to get involved per se. They just want to do their thing. And Disney's been woke for a long time. They've been pushing stuff onto children for a while now. And what they've done is that they have these cartoons and these movies, and they'll just kind of slide it in there, like it's just gradually bringing it in there. So people wouldn't get in too much of an uproar and say, okay, well, they put it in there, I'll let it go because it's not predominantly. Now they've gone so far to where they want to have 50% of their content represent a trans or the LGBT community, 50%, which it doesn't reflect the country. It does not reflect the United States of America at all. And it's not even 50. So you have the Democrats that are pushing this. And I say the Democrats, it's basically the left that's pushing this because they want it to be the norm, Barry. They want children to be indoctrinated. And for them to say the whole thing for them, they say that this is the say no gay bill. It has nothing, the word gay is not even the bill. It's about parents' rights. It's about parents having the capability of teaching their children what parents want to teach. Now, Ron DeSantis and the other people in the state of Florida are not going out saying, hey, parents, you can't teach your children X, Y, Z. They're just saying that people in the schools can't push their agenda with their partner, whatever they did on the weekend, to these students. That's irrelevant to teaching them anything.
I agree. And maybe that's why Ron DeSantis is so popular in the state of Florida and everybody wants to move there. Well, where can people find out about you and follow your terrific work?
Simply go to uniteamericafirst.com and you find everything out there.
And we at ATP strongly recommend you do exactly that. Sign up to get his content, both on social media and everything that he puts out everywhere. You'll be glad you did. Thanks for coming on with us today to join us at ATP Report. We sure appreciate it. For ATP Report, I'm Barry Nussbaum.